You know that the vast majority of Democrats fully and consistently have supported President Biden on his support of Ukraine in this war. You seem to be out of step with the voters of the party that you're asking to vote.
That doesn't make it right, Elizabeth. That does not make it right. We need to be a moral nation. We need to restore our moral authority around the world. If every Democrat is against me on that, I'm still going to say it. We printed $300 billion to bail out the Silicon Valley Bank, and we topped off Ukraine at $113 billion. We have money, plenty of money for the big shots who need their bank bailouts and for any war that comes along. But if you took that $113 billion that we've given to the Ukraine and spent it here, we wouldn't have to cut $1 from food stamps for that 30 million Americans. And all of these money that we're spending on the military is not making us safer, and it's not making us friends abroad.
There it is. RFK, you did that. You right there, you did that. And I like how he said, you know what? We should be a moral nation. And it don't bother me if all the Democrats want to go in an immoral direction, I'm gonna keep standing. So good. I'm so happy that him, Marianne Williamson, and Dr. Cornel West had the courage to step in the gap and run in 2024.
Yeah, it's important for this sort of like line to be open because this is the Democratic Party. This is during an administration where they have the incumbency advantage. They have no intent or desire to break with their party traditions, the same tradition that said that Hillary Clinton was a great idea to elect as well. But they don't want to get past this tradition of what they give as a present to their quote unquote party leader as the president. When in reality, the president is out of step with not only the rest of his party, but the rest of his country. And so It would be the right thing, would be the smart thing to do to open up this debate to, you know what? I hate that I'm saying this because I dislike the Democratic Party, but I want some party to act in my interest. It would be better, it would lead to a stronger Democratic Party if you had these debates, if you had this conversation actually get hashed out. And Joe Biden had pressure kind of like was supposed to be had from Bernie Sanders and that wing in the 2020 primary, which you saw somewhat, but at least you're seeing on labor most of the time. But there'd be that pressure that Joe Biden would take into a second administration where, hey, I would hope that without having to worry about running for presidency again, he would feel a little bit more confident to say, you know what, let's add a Supreme Court justice or two, because this is how we're gonna level it out. You know what? Let's do some of these laws that'll actually help people. Let's invest money. Let's do Build Back Better, but not wait for some senators to get their heads out of their asses.
And Dan,
right? Like,
you know what? And you absolutely right. We in NewsNation, let me put out there that town hall clip that we showed about RFK Jr. talking about Ukraine. It was NewsNation. We got another clip to respond to, and I know we only got a few more minutes left in show. With all that toxicity between candidates as of late, here's what RFK said about that. Take a look.
I'm for de-escalating all of the poison and the hatred and the vitriol. So, whoever it is, whether it's against, President Trump or President Biden, you won't hear me saying like bad things about President Biden. I like President Biden. I've known him for probably 40 years, and this campaign is not about criticizing him, and I tried not to do that. If there's a policy I disagree with, like the war, like censorship, like the lockdowns, I'm going to criticize those. I'm not going to attack him as a man. And I'm not going to attack President Trump because we've had enough of that. We need to figure out a way to start talking to each other and to start healing each other and stop, just hating on each other. This polarization is more dangerous, and it's been in this country since the Civil War.
And as RFK Jr., again, NewsNation Town Hall put Dan up and me saying, look, I'm simply here to talk about the issues. And if we disagree on the issues, we will have that conversation. But I'm not about to get personal with any of these candidates. I am running because I think I can do a better job. Refreshing, Dan?
Yeah, it's a strong strategy to not only just talk about policies, but to kind of make that your standard by going, I'm not going to dig into Donald Trump's strategy or dig into this whole game of lowering politics. I'm going to represent, as many of these sort of third party candidates are doing, just an entirely different way of doing politics, not tethered to this binary system. So I appreciate that town hall for that.
Yeah, I do too. How quite refreshing. And again, I got to repeat, I am happy and just big ups to Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr. for stepping up to the plate and not being afraid to challenge this party, the Democratic Party, and their power, and saying I'm going to run because I believe I can do a better job. And big ups to Dr. Cornel West for saying not only am I going to challenge, I'm going green. I'm going to shake things up in the Green Party and the third party and challenge that power too. All three of these people, we owe a great debt of gratitude because they did not. They're fearless. And going up against an incumbent president and fearless, knowing that the system is going to try to barrel down against them. Because as much as we say we don't have a monarchy in this country, politicians sure get offended when you run against them, thinking that they own the seat, and they don't own the seat. He doesn't own the presidency no more than I own the seat that I served in the Ohio Senate. So there we go. People have a right to run. So run, RFK, run. Run, Marianne Williamson, run, and run, Dr. Cornel West, run. And hell, if anybody else want to jump on in there, y'all do it. The water is fine.